Do you ever look at the reboot of the game and sometimes wonder if the game mechanic are changed or removed for some reason? One of the big complaints of Dissidia NT lately is the fact that mechanics from previous game are not present. It's pretty common situation really. When the game shift its genre or even change just a little, there's gonna be some fans who complain about it. But at least in this case, the change is pretty damn big, so such reception is to be expected. But nevertheless, I'm here to present the other side of this and explain it to you on how not only Dissidia NT fixed the problem of the previous game, but also point out the really important thing of this game that you may or may not be ignored, even though the games try really hard for you to remember it. The main problem of the original Dissidia and Duodecim is balancing, and by that I mean the lack of it. This not only applies to a character, but more importantly to the mechanic itself, or specifically, bravery system. Bravery system is designed around 2 attacks. Bravery attack only affect bravery, so it's usually fast and easy to hit, while HP attack affect opponent health directly, so it needs to be slower and more predictable. In concept, this system can work if the balance of these 2 attacks are not over one another, so player can think whether they should get more bravery or dealing damage, but in Duodecim, it's not. The balance is tipped too far right to HP spamming. For one, when 2 players are fighting each other at full build, the amount of damage from bravery attack is not even close to base bravery. You need around 5 or more bravery attack to even break someone, even with some crit damage. So stacking bravery by breaking someone to get a stage bravery rarely happens unless you counter opponent after HP attack. This will not happen if HP attack follow the rules of harder to hit, but one gimmick pretty much breaks this theory apart, and that is HP chain attack. Some characters have the ability to instantly go from bravery attack to HP attack, which not only destroys the previous mentioned weakness, but it also deals more bravery damage to boot. Characters like Zidane being a prime example, with extremely quick sweep attack that change into me or Twister. He has more great HP attack options than anyone else, and it takes a Zoning Queen, a 64 attack combination, and Loa can counter everything to be a higher tier than him. This not only making a character who focus on bravery attack and don't have much HP attack to work with weak in comparison to others, but it also makes the game into a spamming HP attack over and over, and barely interact with bravery attack in an interesting way. In fact, the developers sort of recognized this in the first Dissidia, and they try not to repeat the same mistake in the sequel. If you look at 9 new characters in Duodecim, only 2 of them has HP chain attack, and it's all on the ground, so it's somewhat situational. And guess what? None of that matters because all of the old characters still have the same move, and they didn't bother nerfing them. Another big issue is an assist system. The gimmick that summons other characters to do one attack or use it as a meat shield, and with it being easy to get by just spamming bravery attack whether you hit it or not, it's too damn good due to it being a perfect defense and offense. And even though assists create a lot of interesting combo in the game, it supports the character with HP chain attack even further. Sephiroth and Kuja are 2 of the top tier assists due to their guaranteed chase ability that gives you a free combo. While the main character balance can be somewhat debatable, using any other assist aside from Sephi, Kuja, Aerith, or maybe Jack is handicapping. And since you do HP chain attack to assist to another chain attack easily, spamming HP attack combo is just the best tactic for everything. You might think that this complaint only applies to the competitive, but this is also the part of the problem in single player as well, more specifically in the late game. Because all the enemy in the late dungeons always has a higher level than you, which result in higher stat and even higher base bravery, bravery attack them will do jack squat, and many players will just go an easy way and just spamming OP HP attack over and over until they die, or just spamming Yuna's Mega Flare. So not only the game already have a balance issue in the combat, they pretty much hammer in that mindset if you play the campaign, which you will most likely do because you want to get that sweet equipment and exclusive weapon. And by the time you get that, your brain will already be fixed on HP spamming. The PSP title definitely have been designed with RPG mindset. And by that I mean long campaign, leveling up, stat, and equipment. And a lot of trope in RPG really show a spammable ability, and OP characters, and unbalanced system. And while these games succeed in that aspect in some extent, it failed to merge that system with fair and balanced fighting game and not utilize the balance their core mechanic enough to make the battle more than just a one-trick pony. Well, when that's out of the way, here's how NT fixed it. Just for heads up before I go into this, the reason why NT combat being fleshed out is because the arcade had been out for about 2 years now, and they have been patching the crap out of it already, whereas PSP game only got 2 chances to try it. And yes, PSP game has an excuse for it, but it doesn't change the fact that NT do it better. And most of the changes they did are just a character adjustment. They still need to work around the base combat system that have been created before the game launched. Well, let's start with the whole HP spamming first. One thing they did in the reboot is just flat out bop the crap out of bravery attack. If you use neutral attack, you can easily break anyone with just 3 hits. Or better yet, if you're Vanguard, a simple 2 attack combo from the wall is enough to break anyone. This stinky little fireball right here deals more damage than 90% of bravery attack in Duodecim. Another change they did is just remove any random crit damage. In fact, the only RNG in the game right now are Summon Core, Summon Attack Pattern, Kuja and Ace EX skill, and Loose Block without microtransaction. Better keep it that way, Square. And the damage scaling is now applied to all damage instead of just crit damage. I talked about this in the bravery system video already. You can check that out if you want to know how damage formula work in this game. But for HP attack itself, they pretty much fixed it in the most brutal way possible. Instead of having 6 slots to equip and God knows how many HP chain attack you can equip outside of that slot, NT just downright nerfed that and only have you choose 1 attack at a time. Many people hate this, but I think it's pretty damn clever, and here's how. For one, it will force you to change your playstyle and make you think on how to use that HP attack accordingly, and utilize other bravery attack to help you land it, but not in easy and guaranteed way like chain attack. Since you are not giving too many options to deal damage, you are forced to think about the strength and weakness of your 1 attack and find a way to hit it. Take Cloud and his 2 HP attack for example. If you choose Claw Slash, you will need to focus on either Wallace combo or mid-range or close-range intercept. But you have to make sure that no other enemy is around you to interrupt you, and try not to miss it cause Cloud won't stop his attack midway. But if you pick middle range, now you have to focus on range and snipe enemy from afar since this move is too slow for combo. If you play middle range Cloud like Claw Slash Cloud, you are not going to hit any HP attack on anyone. And not just that, each HP attack can be more effective in different stages. That's why they show the stage before you go into the match and let you choose the attack accordingly. Is this stage small or have a lot of walls? Pick a melee attack for wall rush combo or close range self-defense attack in your range characters. Is this stage big and open? Better pick a long range attack so you can actually hit stuff. And the combo is no longer super easy to do. You have to position yourself to hit an enemy to a wall and you have to be close enough to follow it up. Not like the PSP game where the knockback is so high and assist can be anywhere. And sure, some attacks are more popular than others, but there's no end all be all and everything can be countered accordingly. Even in high rank, some pro player can still find a way to use situational HP attack effectively in clever ways. Not just that, when you're getting hit by HP attack, you will be stunned for about 5 seconds, but you will get a pretty long iframe from that. Pretty much create a temporary 2v3 situation. That stun is basically a reward for you for landing your 1 single HP attack, and again, it prevents HP spamming and endless combo. But if you think that 1 HP attack is still dumb, well, luckily Square has been blessed you with 1 character that will be right up your alley, and a perfect example of how they balance the character in this game. And that guy is Vaughn. Vaughn is an oddball even for a specialist type, and he is the embodiment of Duodecim gameplay. He is the only character who not only can equip 2 HP attack, but also have 6 to choose from. And to add his HP spamming nature, he has a gimmick where the more he lands it, the stronger it becomes. So how do they balance him? Well, not much really. They just make everything else about him garbage. He's only got 5 bravery attack with all of them being super basic and deal pitiful damage. His EX skill can freeze his bravery, which is great if you have a really high bravery to begin with, and one is the worst character for building up bravery. And you pretty much disable all those extra damage from his mechanic. If you want to play this game like an old Dissidia, they will make sure to either punish you or make you deal with consequences. So that's kind of fixed HP spamming issue, but what about a lot of mechanics that they changed or removed then? Well, let's go and run down on each one of them. The only 2 things they flat out remove is equipment/accessory and chase. Equipment and accessory is kind of a given really. If you see any online multiplayer focus game, chances are you will barely see a crap ton of pre-customization, cause not only will be a hassle for a developer to balance, it's also a hassle for player to have to deal with OP stuff. It's not like there's no way, it's just really freaking hard. If they're going to add that into the game, it's going to be exclusive to offline only. The same thing can be applied to a bravery attack set as well, where you can equip them in 6 slots like HP attack in Duodecim. Now it's fixed attack in NT. This might be limiting, but it helps the fact that when they have to make an attack for NT, they have to make sure it's useful in some way and not making a throwaway ability that nobody uses. Hell, you also got 1 or 2 more attack from dash attack, so there's more option in bravery attack in one battle than PSP game if you ask me. For chase, it needs to be removed due to it destroy the purpose of positioning since this game is actually focused on that. I will go into that later though. Aside from these 2 aspects, everything else has been either retained or reworked, so let's just talk about the latter one. EX gauge have been changed to EX skill. Instead of super mode with few additional ability and cinematic attack which function almost the same for every character, now it's a unique skill with cooldown and each character have their own unique power. And technically some characters still have a super move, it's just in the real time and you need to use it right or else you're gonna get interrupted or counter. There is also 2 other EX skills that everyone can choose and use it, provide some more utility depending on your skills of choices. Summon is still in this game, but while they lack in quantity, it makes up by quality. Summon in NT even reused the concept of EX gauge in the previous game. You earn a summon point by hitting enemy or the core that appear in a battlefield. But unlike PSP game where it appears suddenly and whoever faster or closer always get it, this summon core not only have some warning time before it appears, telling exactly when and where it's gonna come out, so even the player who is further from core can react, but you need to hit it to get a summon point. Cause the player to interrupt one another and player to choose between the core and the enemy nearby. Summon itself normally gives you a specific stat boost, kinda like a more simple accessory, but you can call them to create a temporary stage hazard and deal huge bravery damage, but not break them so player can actually do that instead and get a bonus bravery. And all these summons still looks freaking awesome and you can even fight one in the story mode. The only thing left is the assist, which I'm pretty sure many people adore due to how useful and OP it is. But what if I tell you that NT not only have the similar gimmick, but also more dynamic, more useful yet harder to master and not broken? Require a lot more thought to it, the game have been encouraged you to use it for the entire time you play it, yet some people still ignore it, and they have been standing right behind you before the game even starts. Your freaking teammate. The entire game has been revolved around this team-based mechanic. It's never been the other way around. It's not tacked onto the game as a last gimmick, but rather everything else is designed for this 3v3. And the game constantly indirectly telling you this. Starting with a tutorial that not only teaches you how to switch target as the second lesson after the movement, but also the last 3 tutorials is all about cooperate with your teammate. Not just that, but previously mentioned mechanic also heavily support teamwork, starting with the fact that most EX skill affect more than one teammate or enemy. Buff EX skill can give an effect to nearby ally, encourage you to know your teammate position and group up, and most of the debuff is either AoE or projectile that still shoot AoE. Heck, out of 25 EX skill in the game, only 5 of them are self-cast or single target, and even some of them are still for team fight purposes. If one of the 3 EX skill you start with is a freaking Brave Chair, I think you should know that something is different. Summon is another thing. To call them, you need to stand still when channeling, but the more people channeling, the faster the gauge fill up, and when all 3 players summon together, they can instantly summon. If you look at the pro player in arcade, even in a solo queue, they will never waste their time summoning at all. When someone sees that everyone is not in danger, just one signal and the whole team will do it in unison. Oh, speaking of signal, the chat line have not been used enough. The game gives you a choice to communicate with players without a mic, and it's mostly abandoned. Even the summon chat signal is the most useful line in the game and nobody uses it. Even the Bronze AI use it, man. Bronze AI! Okay, I mentioned it before that I will go to positioning, and I think this is where I talk about it. Another change that I didn't mention is dashing now have a limit unlike PSP game. This combined with slower dash speed and startup and the range attack and zoning projectile impact the game a lot more. Positioning become pretty crucial. This is also why the stage in this game are designed to be more broader and more simple. If they design the stage like some of them in Duodecim, it's gonna be a pain to move around and some characters will get unfair advantages. Why? Well, definitely I got a perfect example. You probably play in this one stage from Final Fantasy 13 called Eden, right? But did you know it used to be different? Instead of simple and pretty big rectangle stage, the old one is just about as long but half as wide. This stage is in the game since the release of the arcade, but it got banned 4 months later after and reworked it to the current one. Due to it create unfair advantage for melee character, especially Combo Master because they can combo other character to oblivion. Really, if this simple stage got banned in rework, I think they were not going to go that crazy with the stage. And finally, the most important thing, the UI. The thing that a lot of people have been complaining before has come back and bite them. Unlike most arena fighting games that only show your data and everyone else is on top of their head, NT gives you everything you need to know even without switching target, from rarity to health, buffs and debuffs on every character so you know which one is on drug or on steroids, a player number who clearly target on that person, a line that not only show you the direction of an enemy who target at you, but also glow red to warn you that they are attacking you, and lo and behold, the minimap. For the love of Shenryu, just look at it, man. It tells you the situation of other teammate and enemy in an instant. I have asked an arcade player once about the minimap, and they say they look at it every 5 seconds and every time they attack. I mean, you can complain about UI being too big, but do you ever think that they put all these things on the screen for a reason? Hell, at least the old UI have an excuse for being big because it's on an arcade cavern where you look at point blank, and it's a touchscreen for multiple functions, and in console they make a cleaner and smaller version, and yet they didn't remove anything, because of course! And lastly, the game rewards the team play alongside the individual skill. The point you get is not only from dealing the most damage, but also how much you help your friends. By saving your teammate for enemy attack, buff them, heal them or do a combo with them, or even just being a decoy for your friends so they can flank attack enemy. And even if you deal the most damage in the game and get the first place, it will matter only a little if your team lose. Your grade might determine how much point you get, but your team resolve will determine whether you're gaining or losing points. And this is basically what happened online. Many people expect this game to be 1v1, and they will have a tunnel vision on one players and they will look around. And the game don't want you to do that. Remember that invincibility after you're getting hit by HP attack? Another reason that's there is so 1v1 can be stopped and the player who land the attack can move on to another target. But some people still standing there, wasting 5 seconds for enemy to recover, and the game give them enough iframe to run away anyway. The next time you're getting hit from the back while you focus on someone else, remember that the game already tells you to minimap an attack line. It's your fault for not noticing. Stop your attack, think about your surrounding, and dodge it. But what does this team battle amount to, and why are they making this instead of 1v1? Well, the simple answer is they just want to do it. Dissidia is supposed to end after Duodecim, and if they want to make another one, they want to make it different. And most developers, more specifically Nomura, want to make it a party base. But while there's really no bad idea, only bad execution, I think that the decision to go 3v3 is a right call. Because it makes bravery system much more fun and interesting, and they nail it in execution. The biggest strength of bravery system, to me, is strategic calculation. Think about it, bravery is pretty much a math class with sword and magic. And unlike normal fighting game where damaging is consistent, there are a lot of things to consider here to use your number. But the problem with PSP game and 1v1 is that there's not much to work with. Yes, there's someone that do all the wacky thing with bravery, but they're clearly not balanced it at all. That's why they put a limit use on it. Because you trade your bro between 2 players and there are only few outside factor, most of the time it's come down to hitting opponent as much as possible, mostly HP attack, just like every other fighting game. But when 3v3 merged with bravery system with previous mentioned balance and element, the numbers matters a lot more and there's a lot of strategy to think about. Even just choosing which target you want to fight. One enemy has a really high bravery, you can try to brave attack them to get a ton of bravery and risk getting killed, or shoot them with HP attack which will either kill them and delete all their bravery, or stun them for a while, or use your EX skill like Mighty Strike to double the damage and deal 2000 bravery damage in one attack. Same thing with ally, if they have a lot more bravery than you can help them by either getting rid of enemy who is going to attack them, or help your team pin down one enemy so that friend can easily hit one HP attack, and you can do that by either war's enemy or do a sick duo combo with each other. Remember that combo master video? That's only one player do it. When there are 4 more players around it, it can be interesting because the combo can be longer with your ally or stopped by a good opponent. Or maybe they will get stuck in your combo too. Or if you got a lot of bravery yourself and have an AoE HP attack, you can either use it on one enemy right away or position it just right for a multi-kill. Same thing too with bravery attack, hit a multiple target to double your bravery gain, and getting a triple kill with one good AoE attack is really the highlight of this game. All of these things can only happen when the game is 3v3. It's allowed a lot more interesting things to happen with bravery of 6 players. It's no longer just 2 people playing a tug of war, it's 6 people playing a Godspeed poker game with massive explosion. And this is the reason why I like this game combat. It's not only expect you to outplay your opponent, but also outthink and outplan them. And to me, that is more engaging and coincidentally, more faithful to Final Fantasy. I don't have anything against PSP Dissidia game really. I still enjoy the game, but I like it as a grinding heavy RPG that I can get by spamming OP attack over and over. But I think a lot of people don't really look closer to the new game or the series and just look at the thing that they remove, but not really notice all the things they add and don't really think why and how the game works. If anything, one of the biggest flaws of this game is that they are not teaching you about the game enough. Dissidia has a really high learning curve and I think it will benefit more with some explaining, especially character specific ability. You're welcome, Square. But I still encourage everyone who plays this game to learn how to work with your teammate and overall just have a more wonderful time. I guess the first thing they need to pass into the game is having Mugo say, "This is a team game, Kubo, don't be a lone wolf and help your goddamn friend, Kubo." Hell, if Score can actually try to be less of a loner and more of the team player, I think everyone can also do that. So thank you Square for finally fixing Dissidia gameplay. Now get it together and fix your goddamn netcode.